Perhaps you're familiar with the law of unintended consequences. What that means is even the very best of intentions can turn out to have some unfortunate consequences, and vice versa, of course. Not meaning to cause any problems, we sometimes create worse problems than when we started. Well, one of those examples is the use of antibodies. Antibodies are a great idea. They kill all kinds of bacteria and germs that make us sick, and they've been very widely used, and I can certainly understand that. It's an easy way to knock out something that's causing us a lot of problems. But the trouble with the frequent use of antibiotics, as you know, is we have now developed what are known as superbugs. And what always happens at first, a little bit makes a big difference, and then it takes more and more and more and more. Well, over time, and using these antibodies, these superbugs have developed that are just immune to all our medicines. So this superbug here say, so you've got this pathetic little pill. Don't make me laugh. You can't do anything to me. I'm a superbug. This is an especially big problem in hospitals, obviously, because there's so many sicknesses and germs and viruses and bacteria and everywhere. Of course, it's an especially big problem in hospitals. So here are some strains that have become resistant, if not impervious, to some of our drugs. A staph drug virus, blood poisoning and infection, anthrax, E. coli, pneumonia, a drug of bacteria, that affects the stomach, eyes, ulcers, and stomach cancer, and serious skin infections. So these particular bugs were studied by this doctor named Harry Prowse at Georgetown University. And he specifically studied the effects of lauric acid in coconut oil, monolaurin, which is a coconut oil derivative, and oreganum, I guess that's how you'd pronounce it, which is oregano oil. And he found that this combination was very, very effective in killing a lot of those resistant superbugs that we were just talking about, which is very exciting. He did not study these: tuberculosis, salmonella, bacterial foodborne disease, strep throat, pink eye, meningitis, another kind of pneumonia, the flesh-eating, oh yuck, bloodstream infections, gonorrhea. So whether they are affected in any way by coconut oil and the substances that are in it needs a lot more work, a lot more research, but it is an exciting beginning for something that may help. It's just so wonderful when something natural can have such great results. Which brings us to an idea that we need to think about, you need to think about in terms of health for yourself and your family. One is the isolate theory, and the other is whether you should have whole foods. And what that means is like this. I just mentioned the monolaurin in coconut oil. The isolate theory goes like this. Well, you find something that works, like, for example, British sailors were called limeys because they got scurvy, and it was a terrible disease, and they didn't know why so many sailors were dying and even going crazy and falling off riggings and so forth, until they discovered that it was a lack of vitamin C. So they started carrying limes particularly, but also lemons and oranges on ships. And as long as the sailors got some of that, they got their vitamin C and they were fine. Well, this is the same type of idea. The isolate theory says you take this food or whatever, but in this case a food like coconut oil, and you say, hey, that monolaurin is really great. Let's use Let's extract the monolaurin and isolate it and take that as a supplement. Or do you want to take unrefined, high-quality coconut oil? I suspect that the Whole Foods argument is the better one, but we can't prove that. So, at least at this point, we can't absolutely prove that. But anyway, the point of this is a lot of these superbugs are affected by very high quality coconut oil. So it's a weapon to keep in your arsenal and something to consider, especially if you're going to be in a hospital or around areas where there are a lot of different germs and dangerous little organisms that are very virulent.